Alright, you guys can start whenever.
Okay. Okay, so the first question is, what's that noise? Do you guys have that noise too, or is it just mine?
No, I hear it.
I don't hear anything.
Will you tell us when you're recording it?
Yeah, it's already recording.
Okay. Okay, the first question is, why did the author choose to incorporate folklore into her story?
I don't really know how she incorporated folklore in it. I guess I don't really see anything in there that had anything to do with folklore.
Yeah, that's kind of I don't really get how to answer that question. Sydney or Teresa, do you guys have anything?
I was looking at the questions like beforehand too, and I was like, not really sure. Like, is it just because it's like older? You know, I don't know. Like, it was written in like the 1930s or something. It's a really old book. I don't really see how she would have done it, but I don't agree with you guys.
Yeah. I'm gonna look up.
Maybe we can just do another question and then we can go back to that one if we need to.
Yeah.
The second question is, how does African tradition function in Their Eyes Were Watching God? I mean, I don't know if it's necessarily like an African American tradition, or just maybe like of the time that like kind of like the cultural tradition that like the women are the people that are in the home and that they're not really allowed to like be a part of society.
I'm not really allowed to learn.
You guys hear me?
Yeah, kind of.
There's like a weird noise in the background. I don't know if it's.
Alexa, could you say what you said again?
Did you? Yeah, I just said. So the question was like about African American tradition, and I just said like I don't know if it's really necessarily African American tradition, but like that women are more like in the home and they're not really allowed to be a huge part of society.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I guess I kind of have the same skepticism too as of where the African American tradition is, and because they didn't really do anything like traditional, I would say. I mean, they all, I guess, kind of the way they talk, if that's what she's referring to, like their dialect, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree with that. It was like kind of hard to understand at parts, unless you like said it out loud almost because of the way they were talking. But that, and too, like, I don't know, maybe with some of their like obsession, like what's her name, Mrs. Turner, she's like kind of obsessed over like being like the white people, but I don't know if that's necessarily an African American tradition. But, yeah. Teresa, do you have anything that you want to add?
One tradition I can kind of think of, but like technically it's not like a tradition, but it's just like, I mean, slavery was like a kind of a big thing in like the whole farming and everything. How she leaves and goes and farms with tea cake or whatever, because that's like what she wants to do. She doesn't want to like her grandma always wanted her to like, you know, be in like with a successful guy, and like tea cake wasn't really that, and that's like because she was at first, and obviously it didn't work out, so she went and tried something new or something different that maybe she was more expected to be a part of than with a guy that was successful. So I think that maybe was the tradition, was like being more into like not all the fancy stuff and all the nice things, but, like how it kind of like panned out was like people don't like, she wasn't ever expected to like have nice things and being like wealthy, I guess, if that makes sense. I don't want to say it in like a rude way, but like the way like it went along in the story, that's like kind of how I guess tradition it was.
Yeah. And I feel like too, she talks like so much about how because her grandma grew up like in slavery, it was like natural for her to want Janie to have like a life with like a high social class and like wealth, but like it was just because she had grown up as a slave, and so that's what she saw and like what she idolized kind of, and it's not necessarily what she wanted. Should I do the next one?
Yep, go for it.
Okay, it says, what do you think are the audience and purpose of Their Eyes Were Watching God?
I would say woman is a big audience in this one. It focuses on a woman's life and kind of like what she wants to do as a woman in that time period, instead of kind of being down and then and stuff, and like even like with Tea Cake, like at first like he's super nice to her, but then he feels like dominance over her. So I feel like going to
yeah, I agree.
Okay, just keep going, it's fine.
Oh, I was gonna say, yeah, I agree with Sydney. I think it's I feel like it definitely empowers women, kind of just the way Janie is. Like it's about her journey, like she literally like leaves men left and right kind of thing. So yeah,
I feel like it's like totally a feminist like driven book, and it's like kind of like empowering to like the minority class of women more than just women in general. Do we have anything we want to add to that? Teresa, do you want to add anything? Hello?
all right.
Okay. What societal attitudes, values, or ideals are conveyed and challenged in this book? We've already kind of talked about like the treatment of women and like what their responsibilities are in a community and like in the home, and what the expectations are for how they like look and how they behave and participate in conversation.
I think another big one is like marriage and love and stuff. Like at first she gets married just because her grandma pretty much makes her, and she does it so she'll be taken care of. And then she gets married because she wants a better life. Like she obviously, when she met Jody, she didn't really love him because they only had just met. She just wanted a better life because that's what he promised her. And then she met Tea Cake, and then they actually had love together when they were married. So it just kind of compared and contrasted those different things.
Yeah. I feel like it kind of goes along with too how like so many, like she kind of learns for herself that happiness and like security isn't found by like her social status or her wealth, but it's like when she follows her dreams or whatever she always talks about and like does what she wants, even if it's maybe not what society is telling her is going to make her happy. Teresa, do you have anything you want to add?
She wrote something on the side. Oh,
Next question is, in what ways does Hurston African American tradition relevant for contemporary readers? Like the idea of like it keeps saying African American tradition, and I don't really know what they're meaning by that, but I feel like the author just makes it relevant for contemporary readers because like we're talking about common themes of love and marriage and finding out who you are and like what you want.
Yeah, I guess I'm still kind of seeing how it's African American tradition because I even feel like in the beginning of the story they moved because they're like having their own African American town. So it's like I feel like if anything they're I don't know. I just don't see it. I feel like we're more trying to conform to white ways, I guess. I feel like it's almost the opposite of that.
Yeah, that's what I think too.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with both of you. I agree with Alexa kind of just being like talking about timeless things, or like like finding out who you are and kind of going through different, I guess, like chapters of your life to figure out like what you really want, and it's like everybody's always kind of doing that, you know. It's like things always are changing, and you're always like, I guess, trying out new things. Not necessarily marriages all the time, but I guess like, you know, doing new things and trying to figure out what works best for you. And she ends up, going right, where she started, which was back in, I guess, right, where the started or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's kind of like funny to see how it just comes all back in a circle and she ends up where she started.
Yeah. Teresa, do you want to add anything? Can you hear me? Okay.
Oh, yes. Can you hear me? I don't know because since my microphone has some problem.
What did you say? Okay, let's do the next one.
Okay.
It is, how does race affect characters in the novel? Gender, class, give specific examples, including page numbers. I mean, it's not necessarily the race, but like her relationship with Mrs. Turner and Tea Cake's relationship with Mrs. Turner, like she's even just a little bit lighter skin colored than he is, and Mrs. Turner like loves her and wants her to like marry her brother and all this stuff, whereas because Tea Cake is darker, she like doesn't like him. It's not necessarily race, it's just his physical appearance, I guess, but that's like, I'll find the page number for it.
Oh yeah, Teresa brings up a good point about at the end with the bodies, how they got the coffins for the white people, but for the black people, they just threw them in the hole.
Yeah.
I think also I agree with you, Alexa, about I feel like it's mostly about appearance, not so much about race, especially like in the black communities themselves, because I mean, they're all kind of black, I guess. So they mostly go off of like class and stuff. Like everyone's jealous of Jody and Janie because they're the mayor and they have all this stuff. And so that's why they're always talking about them.
Yeah. And even like the grandma or nanny or whatever her name is really wants Janie to have like a life that she has like a high social class and marries someone who like is able to provide for her, just because she thinks that that's what like is what's important.
I think like that's what will make her happy.
Yeah.
Have a good life and being in a high social class, when obviously that wasn't the case for her.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm looking for the page number from mine. You guys can keep going if you want. Because I don't know how many we have to, don't we all have to share like two quotes from the book?
Yeah.
Yeah, but you guys can just send that after like we normally do.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay.
We said one more question.
It's when do two or more of the above factors come together to influence the way a character is treated or interacts with the world? Again, give specific examples. Well, like gender and class related together, you see like Jo versus Janie and like how she's respected and like treated by the other townspeople. Like they have basically the same social class, but like she's not allowed to do a lot of the same things that he is just because she's a girl. I'll try to find a specific page for that too, but
yeah. I think another example is like when Jody dies and Janie is like it's like a bunch of suitors and stuff, and once she like takes a liking to Tea Cake, everyone is kind of like warning her that like he might be around for money, and like he might have like false reasons or stuff. And so I think they take, because they all call him like a broke N-word and stuff like that, just because he's younger and he's darker than her, and he doesn't have any money. So those three things.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good one.
But I also feel like in their relationship, in Tea Cakes and her relationship, like I feel like they don't really have like a separation like her and Jody did. Like when he like starts coming home early from work or whatever just to like be with her, so then she's like, oh, I'll just like work with you all day, and he like allows it, you know, whereas like, you know, Jody probably would never have allowed that her to like work out in the field and do that kind of stuff. So I thought that was kind of cool to see that, how it's like a complete opposite of how Jody would have treated her.
Mm-hmm.
Because
I feel like it's interesting too, because like the first guy that she was married to, what was his name again?
Logan.
Logan, yeah. When he like wants to go get the mule or whatever so that she can work with him in the field because he thinks that she's like lazy, so against it and like offended by that. But then when Tea Cake wants her to work with him, she's like more open about it because of like the way that he acts. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. I think it's interesting when you start like comparing all the husbands together, because like by the end or the middle, you're like, wow, Tea Cake is like awesome. But then like when he like beats Janie, we're kind of just like, I can't believe he did that, but they're still in love, I guess. So it's like, it's interesting. I don't know.
Yeah. Like the ones that I feel like I would think would be the good husband are the ones that she doesn't
Mm-hmm.
particularly like, and the ones that, I mean, reading about, you're like, oh, like they have some weird things about them, but those are the ones that she like, the one that she like loves. I don't know, it's weird. Like the story itself kind of like challenges like societal like attitudes about like what the perfect marriage or the perfect relationship or love is through like her different marriages, and what it like points it out different things about what are important and what's not.
Yeah, especially because she was married to Jody for like 15 years or something, and then she was only with Tea Cake for like a couple.
Yeah.
and she like wasn't herself with Jody. She was super quiet and never spoke her mind, and I thought it like focused on that a lot, where like she never like said whatever she was feeling. Whenever she just felt like she didn't have the right to. And I think she was trying really hard to like be on his side and kind of like agree with him and like, you know, yeah, like see his side of it, I guess. But like, so I feel like that's why she was kind of being more quiet about things. But on the inside, she was like, this isn't what I want, you know, and eventually just lashed out at him.
Yeah.
Are there any more questions? I guess we can start looking for the quotes and start sending them to you so that you can put them into the paper, unless you guys have anything else that you want to add.
I'm good.
Yeah, I think we're good. It's kind of, yeah. Just send me your quotes and I'll add them in.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
All right, thanks.
Bye.